As we say goodbye to Ash Ketchum, I decided to go back and talk about a Pokemon movie that is part of my memories a lot. It's one of my favourite Pokemon movies of all time. One I've watched many times. No, not that one. Not that one either. That one is a masterpiece, but I think people have talked about it enough. I wanted to talk about one that I feel is very underrated and deserves more love than it gets. That being Pokémon, the Rise of Darkrai. As a heads up, I will be focusing on the English dub, as that was the version I was brought up with, and do not have much knowledge on the original Japanese series. Apologies in advance. Pokemon the movie, The Rise of Darkrai, was a huge milestone in the Pokemon franchise. It was the 10th movie and was the first of the trilogy of movies I like to call the Arceus saga. This was the third movie to be made in the 4th generation, and was only the first to have a Generation 4 Legendary in its title. It was released in Japan on July 14th, 2007, but was not shown in the United States till February 24th, 2008. For us in the UK, we got a DVD release for Network DVD. The location of this film takes inspiration from a real place, which is not uncommon for Pokemon. After all, Galar is based in the UK and Paldea is based in Spain, Portugal and Andorra. Not just the games take inspiration from real locations, as Pokemon Heroes location Altomare is based in Venice, Italy. Wait, a 5th part of a franchise set in Italy? Rise of Darkrai has its location based on Barcelona, Spain, with the Sagrada Familia and the Park Güell being inspiration for the two main locations of the film. Speaking of the movie, let's talk about the plot. Across the Veil of Time, across the vastest space, in a universe not like our own, a battle rages on between the two behemoths, Palkia and Dialga. With every strike, they tear down the walls of reality, which echo into our world, as a dire warning for what is to come. Meanwhile, Ash, Dawn and Brock are on the road once again, heading to Almostown, so Dawn can compete in a tournament where they meet a friendly face of a hot air balloon pilot who introduces themselves as Alice. They have a Chimchar with them. I just want to say I love Chimchar, my chosen starter, and this movie makes them look even more adorable. Oh yeah, you might ask, wait, doesn't Ash have a Chimchar? Not yet, as his party is composed of Apom, Turtwig, Staravia, and of course, Pikachu. While they fly towards Almostown, Alice begins to play the leaf whistle, a skill she learned from her grandmother. And now comes my favourite part of any Pokemon movie. Battling trainers to the theme of the series. This theme being the theme of the series that first got me into Pokemon. John Lofer's We Will Be Heroes from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. It's fun to see all three protagonists fight instead of just having Ash, and especially we get to see all three forms of the final evolution line of this region's starters. After that, Alice takes them to the garden, where they've been enjoyed playing since they were a little girl, and oh my boy, look! I love Shinx so much. Fun fact, this is one of the first appearances of Shinx in the series. After a scuffle, Alice plays a song with her grass whistle, which calms down the Pokemon nearby. A song her grandmother taught her, but is interrupted by Gallade, who shows them pillars that it's been destroyed by something. A voice proclaims that it was Darkrai, and we're introduced to our Gaston of this tale, Alberto. Alberto also claims that he's the fiancé of Alice, but Alex denies it, so instead tags a nerd with Lucky Lucky. Have you ever wrote something and then you go back to say it out loud and just feel disgusted? So, using his tongue Pokemon, he attacks the nerd who's a scientist seen at the start studying dimensional energy. His name is Tonio and is the one Alice really likes, and from the shadows we get to see Darkrai for the first time, and Darkrai goes, "Skilly skidadoo, it's the nightmare world for you," and sends Ash into a nightmare. And then he wakes up in the Pokemon Center. Tonio is back in his lab reading the notes that describe the history of Almos, called the Diary of Goody. What slides out is a picture of Alice's grandmother, Alicia, who once befriended a Darkrai. On the back of the picture is a musical sheet, which is a surprise tool that will help us later. Alberto meets Team Rocket and, like the himbo villain he is, teams up with them to search for Darkrai. The next day, the gang get to the Space-Time Towers. They all head up the tower to hear it chime by putting a music disc in. They fly down and meet a starter trio again and look for a rematch, until a surge of energy, and Darkrai enters the chat again. The himbo comes back with his monstrosity of a Pokemon, which leads to Darkrai sending out a bunch of Pokemon to nap time, with a Dream Ghost appearing in the real world. Baron commits more property damage and this happens. Listen, it's a Pokemon movie. It's weird. All the Pokemon hit by Darkrai are in the clinic, and the Dream Ghosts are running from something. Things have really become Silent Hill as a fog approaches. Tonio remembers a memory where Darkrai saved Alice from falling off a cliff and discovers who's really behind the shockwave at the top of the tower. Palkia. While all this is happening, Baron has set up a mob to lynch Darkrai, but they get absolutely wrecked. Darkrai is seen trying to attack Palkia as the other Pokemon awake, and Baron deflates. Dialga now appears and it's finally explained that they are fighting to see who's better, the ruler of time or the ruler of space.
You want me to find out?
This battle between dimensions is what's predicted in the Book of Goody and why Darkrai's been so aggressive, trying to protect everyone. Darkrai mistakes Alice for her grandmother, Alicia, and the gang tries to ask forgiveness from Darkrai, as Palkia's attacks are slowly disintegrating the town. Chekhov's song is finally here as they look for the Oracion, the song Alice's grandmother taught her, giving us a Spanish lesson at the same time, as Oracion means prayer in Spanish. Now it's a race up the tower to play the song. Brock is helping people take refuge in the garden. Plip-Plop falls to its death, is saved by Staravia. But the balloon does crash, taking Alice and Tonio out of the mission. Now it's up to Dawn and Ash to play the song, with Darkrai using the last of its energy to protect the garden, and sacrificing its life. They play the song, and honestly, this is one of the most beautiful moments in all of Pokemon. I love motifs so much, and hearing the Oracion play and hearing it save the day, in the end, is just so cheesy. Yeah, I love it. The fight is stopped, and the town is restored, with one exception. Darkrai. The misunderstood protector of course not, this is a Pokemon movie. They're standing above the town, like a ghostly Batman, there to protect it from any more threats. And that's the end. Oh, and yeah, Dawn loses the contest. Is this the best Pokemon movie? I say no. It has many flaws that movies of this era has, but I really enjoy it. I just really like having the Darkrai that's been shown as a villain in the games being a kind figure. It's like what they did Gengar in the new series. I watched nearly all of the adventures Ash had. Every victory, every defeat, every friend they made, and every friend they had to say goodbye to. Like Ash said himself, you see, sometimes friends have to go away, but a part of them stays behind with you. Ash's journey may be over, but every journey continues. And your journey always just begins.